I didn't have enough time to finish my BM paper 2. Teacher who was in charge, she went to collect my paper first. Hey, what is up guys, it's me, your boy Kerwin, and in today's video, I'll be talking about 5 mistakes that almost ruined my SPM. In today's video, I'll be specifically talking about something that I wish I have known earlier while I was prepping for my SPM. And during my pre-SPM period, I've made a couple mistakes that I realized that is costing me too much, and that's why today I make this video specifically towards students that are about to take their SPM, and I wish you guys do not make the same mistakes as I do. So mistake number 1 is poor time allocation during exams. So during in my SPM Kertas 2 BM paper, I made a huge mistakes, which is I spent too much time on a specific place, which is I was spending too much time on my KBAT questions, which at first I was super unconfident about my answers, and which I gave a ton of answers that is beyond the marking limit, and that's the moment where I messed everything up. At the end, I did not have enough time to finish my novel and rumusan, and everyone knows that rumusan is the key core of the whole BM paper 2. No matter what grade you want to achieve, those rumusans contain 30 marks per 100 of your Kertas 2. The moment when I'm about to do my rumusan, I only have 10 minutes left. Everyone knows that in rumusan, you have to find the isi, you have to categorize the focus, and you got to differentiate those isi and divide them and separate them towards each focus. And the most important part, you have to write them down and make sure it does not exceed the word limit. And that's where everything is so rushing. I don't have enough time to finish my BM paper 2. The moment when the bell rang, the teacher who was in charge at my classroom, she went to collect my paper first, and I was like, I haven't finished my paper, so you just collect the other people first. And then she said, no, time is up, you have to pass it up. And that is a moment where I have finished writing my focus 1 thesis, and then I still start my focus 2 yet and my penutup. And that's a moment where I did not care anything that she says. I refused to pass the paper. I was just keep on writing. I was just scanning the text, and then I would just write straight away. Scan and write. I did not double check my answers at all. I was just and then I was so under pressure. I was about to cry at the time. The whole classroom was looking at me, and I felt my shoulders weighed like 100 kg of dumbbells are on my shoulders, and that's the moment where I'm about to cry. My eyes were filled with tears, and I almost cried during that exam hall. And then she went on to collect other people's question paper. I've been holding her for almost like 2 minutes. I still haven't finished writing my questions. At the end, the moment when I passed the paper out, I just realized I passed out the paper late 4 minutes. So this is the type of mistakes that I would usually not make, and it's a really silly mistake that I've made, especially during in such a big exams like SPM. So for everyone who's watching this video, the main takeaway is do everything first. Make sure you hit the minimum marks of each question and finish the whole paper. And then if you have extra time, then you only go back to those questions that you're feeling not that confident about it, and you should complete every single questions in your paper. Then you only go back to those questions that you aren't that confident about, and then you start adding answers to it. And that is the most safest way to do it. Don't waste too much time on answering just one question by giving a ton of answers that have already exceeded those marking limit. I know a lot of people say that just write any answers and just give a bunch of answers just to play safe. Yes, that's the point, but you shouldn't make the same mistakes as I do, which is to focus on just one particular single questions, and at the back of the paper you still have a ton of questions, you still haven't finished it. Meanwhile, the time is ticking already, and you should definitely allocate your time efficiently so that you won't overspend or underspend too much time towards one specific questions. The thing you can practice is doing practice questions in a real exam-based paper, so that the moment when you are answering each questions while you are practicing or revising, you will know that, oh, in this part I was usually spend approximately range of minutes in this area, so that whenever you're in your game day for exams, you won't mess it up again. So that's the main takeaway. So mistake number 2 is passing up the exam paper too late. Well, this mistake is almost linked with the previous mistakes, but this is a different story that I want to talk about. So we all know that school-based exam and trial exams would be conducted in our school classroom and being supervised by our current subject teacher. And this is the part where they will pull down their guard the most, which is they'll be less strict about students that who pass up the paper late. And there's quite a lot of times during my midterms and trials exams which I pass up the paper late around 1 or 2 minutes, because some teachers might be generous and less strict towards students who is currently still writing on their paper which they're about to finish, and they'll just let them write finish, but they won't give too much time, like 1 or 2 minutes maximum, and at the end they will still collect those papers. But you should definitely not make this a habit, and if you're currently still doing this while watching this video, I would highly suggest that do not make this a habit, because it is a very detrimental habit. You never know, one day it might cost you during in your SPM. In SPM, we are being supervised by other teachers from another school, and they will be more strict and have no tolerance about it. And there's the point that they will just collect the paper once the time is up, so that everything is held with integrity and fair play obligation. And here we come to mistake number 3, which is neglecting sleep. Is one of the most common mistakes that everybody's doing, including me. People will just neglect sleep just to have more study times. It is completely fine during with your homework days that you're currently in school, which is Form 4 or in the beginning of your Form 5, where you have a bunch of homework and you need to complete them in a short period of time with a highly strict due date, and doing those homework until late nights are totally reasonable. But something I need to mention about is during in your pre-SPM days, you should definitely not neglect sleep, which is after your trials, you have a bunch of free time, especially when your teachers have completed their syllabus. That's basically the time that you have time to rest for your body, and you should definitely not sacrifice your sleep just for the sake of more study hours. The moment where we did not have enough of sleep, our mind couldn't perform at its best level. In during my SPM and my trials, where I would just sleep almost 5 to 6 hours per day in between, that's the moment where in during exams hall, I couldn't even understand those questions properly that is being asked in the exam paper. I need to reread those questions for like 5 times. Then I only get to understand what the question is asking about. And that's a moment where you waste a lot of time. Do you think that neglecting your sleep just to study more will help you out a lot in your time in taking your paper? Absolutely not. And that's where in exam you lose a bunch of time and you're most likely to write answers that is wrong about. I still remember during my Pendidikan SPM question where I feel super sleepy during my paper 2. I was answering one question and I was keep on writing my answers until the moment where I'm about to finish my answers. I reread the question, I realized that I am writing answers that is completely different with the questions itself. And that's a moment where I went super panic and I start to eliminate my answers and replace it with a correct answers. And which it cost me a lot of time as well. So just do not try to put all nighters, especially if you have an exam tomorrow. You should definitely sleep well tonight. It help you perform well, especially during subjects like maths, accounts, maths, subjects that need to use your brain a lot to calculate numbers. Definitely you should sleep well the night before the exam. And here it comes to mistake number 4, which is skipping workout. I'm sure most of us would think that workout is a waste of time, especially in period like SPM era, where your schedule is super tight. There's a bunch of syllabus you need to cover that is going to ask in SPM, where SPM will ask us about Form 4 and Form 5 syllabus questions. That's the moment where we realized we couldn't cover every single topics. We are super tight in terms of our time, where most of us would just choose to not work out anymore. Skipping workout might benefit you in the short term, but if you constantly skip a workout, it will be very detrimental in the long run. For instance, workout is a very great way to release our stress, especially during SPM period, where you'll be the most stressful period of your life, until moments that at night you couldn't sleep well due to those highly stressful environment that you're just constantly thinking about SPM. This is where workout will help you out a lot, not just in the aspect of managing your stress. It also helps you to think properly and have more sharper mind. During your study periods, you have much more higher and deeper concentration toward your revision. And of course, it will also boost your performance in your exam. Yes, working out might cost you 1 or 2 hours, but it actually helps you to think better and have much more clarity, so that in those time that you are answering your paper, you answer it with high precision and avoid making simple and careless mistake that will cost you your paper. So mistake number 5 is not having a fixed timetable. During the moment that I finished my trial paper, that's the time that I started not to go to school, and I'll just study myself at home until 1 or 2 o'clock midnight, and then I'll just wake up the next day at around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. in the morning. And that's the time that I do not have a proper timetable, and my lifestyle have turned into a mess. I basically would just study whenever I have any free time. I would just stuff it with my studies and just trying to complete as much revision as possible. And that's a moment that I don't have a proper timetable, so I just sleep whenever I want to sleep. I wake up at time that I want to wake up, and I just eat whenever I want to eat. My productivity absolutely starts to decline a lot, especially the more time you spend on your studying, your concentration will starts to fall. And that's the time that you should absolutely have a good timetable just to separate your study periods and utilize a break as well, and categorize your break. You should definitely have your own rigorous timetable. Having a good timetable allows you to focus on studying at times that you should be studying, and rest properly while it is time to rest. And having a good timetable as well will let yourself know that at this time I must go to bed. There's no more tolerance. The moment it's time to go to bed, you should definitely go to bed, and no more excuses. And right now I start to regret of not making a rigorous timetable for my pre-SPM period, so that it could allow yourself to be in a optimal condition, have the best performance at your SPM paper. And that's it, guys, for today's video. I hope that you guys could really take away something from today's video, and I really kind of regret about these 5 mistakes, and just do not make the same mistakes that I have do. I wish everyone the best in their SPM preparation, and hopefully you guys could do well. See you guys in the next video. Peace.